G'day, it's Pete here, and I'm back again for an introduction to Roman keycard Blackwood. Today I'm going to be talking about what is it, what are keycards, some general slam bidding techniques, and then I want to look over the responses, why keycard is useful in general, and then also how you can tell what's actually going on and a bit of some follow-ups there. So first of all, what is Roman keycard Blackwood? Well, it's actually one of the most popular conventions that is played generally around the world, and it is a fantastic slam bidding tool. So what are keycards? So keycards there are 5 keycards, which are all the aces and the king of the trump suit. Roman keycard is basically an ace ask where it adds in the king of the trump suit as an extra ace, because that, to be honest, will often take a trick. Now, there's also one other relevant card, which sometimes gets a bit of confusion about actually being a key card, and that's the Queen of Trumps. And this is because some of the responses show the Queen of Trumps, some don't have it. And what do you actually do with that information? So I'll delve into how we find out about the Queen of Trumps and what do you do if you can't find about it. But basically, there are 5 key cards, all the aces and the king of trumps. You can also explore about the Queen of Trumps as well, and that is just a relevant card. It's sort of a bit of a luxury if you can find out about it. So I want to talk a bit about general slam bidding. So when you're trying to bid slams, there's certain things that you want to try and do. So you want to be able to find out, do we have a trump fit? So where should we be playing? Also, do we have enough points that may be slams available? Are we up around that 33 points? Or can you visualize making 12 tricks somehow? And then what you want to do is check, is there one suit that you're just going to have 2 quick losers in? Are you losing an ace king in any given suit? And then you also want to check, do you also have 2 quick losers? Are you missing 2 key cards, 2 aces, or maybe the king of trumps? And this is what Roman key cards there to try and answer. It's perfectly designed to try and work out, do you have those 2 quick tricks solved? It doesn't answer all the slam bidding questions, but that is one of the critical ones that you want to do. And this is why it's actually the favorite convention of Adam Grossack, who has just been interviewed on Sorry Partner. If you want to check that out, I'll post a link at the end. But it's a really popular convention, which is fantastic for answering the question of, do you have those 2 quick tricks that you're missing and should stay out of slam? The way I like to think of it is, it's a last step that you're doing. You're about to say, I am about to bid slam. I'm just doing this one final check. And if we aren't missing 2 key cards, I'm going to be bidding slam. And if you're missing one, that's fine. Often I see people find out they're missing a key card and then stop back. That means you're actually misusing Roman keycard. It is fine to be in a slam and miss 1 ace. You can still make 12 tricks with that. If you're missing 2 key cards, that's when it's dangerous and you want to stop. So use keycard to say, I'm bidding slam unless I'm missing 2 key cards, or maybe 1 and a relevant card if you have the luxury of finding out about that, or 1 and the Queen of Trumps if you have the luxury of finding out about that. But let's jump into it. What are the responses? So let's look at a sample auction. So here we've got an auction. Our partner opened a diamond, we bid hearts, and they supported hearts. If you now jump to 4 no trumps, this is Roman keycard. So Roman keycard is a 4 no trump bid. And what it's going to be doing is asking partner, how many key cards do they have? It's asking about it on hearts. It'll always be the trump suit that you've agreed. And if you haven't actually agreed a suit yet, often it'll be the last naturally bid suit that it's actually asking about. So here, what we're asking partner is, how many of the aces and the king of hearts do they actually have? And the responses that they actually do here is we use all the bids of 5 clubs, 5 diamonds, 5 hearts, and 5 spades to try and list how many they have. And there's actually 2 ways that you can typically have these answers. One is 0, 3, 1, 4, which I'll explain more. And the other is just flipping them and have it be 1430 is what it's often called. My preference is the 1430 option, but it's perfectly fine to play either. Make sure you and your partner are on the same wavelength. So what the 5 club bid means is that you would have 1 or 4 key cards. You either have 1 ace or the king of trumps, or you've got 4 aces and the king of trumps. The 5 diamonds response would be 0 or 3. You either have no aces or the king of trumps, no key cards, or you have 3 key cards. The 5 heart and 5 spade response, both of these show 2 key cards, or 5. It's exceptionally rare that anyone's ever got 5 and is answering key card, because what is your partner doing asking for key cards? But it is 2 or 5 technically, but I can't remember the last time it was 5. So it's basically 2. So 5 hearts would say I have 2, but I don't have the queen of trumps, the relevant card. And 5 spades says I've got 2, but I do have the queen of trumps. So again, there's 2 ways of responding, and the response is just flip the 5 clubs and 5 diamonds response, and you can really choose which way your partnership finds it easier to remember. They both work. If you're already doing one way, that's fine. No need to switch. But the way I like to do it is have 5 clubs be 1 or 4, 5 diamonds be 0 or 3, 5 hearts be 2, and I don't have the queen, 5 spades be 2, and I do have the queen. Now, notice here the 5 club and 5 diamonds response don't actually mention the queen at all, but the 5 hearts and 5 spades do. So if you wanted to do the other option, 0, 3, 1, 4, that would be 5 clubs is 0 or 3, and 5 diamonds is 1 and 4. So you can switch it either way. Make sure you have an agreement. Again, my pick is 5 clubs be 1 or 4, 5 diamonds be 0 or 3, 5 hearts be 2 without the queen, and 5 spades be 2 with the queen. Now, it's a bit of a coded message, so how can you actually remember it? So there's a couple of ways that I like to try and remember these bids. The first is, if you know your scores, making a slam when you're vulnerable in a major, the score is 1430. So for me, 1430 and having the lowest bid be 1 or 4, the next one bid 3 or 0 really resonates for me. Another way that people try and remember is they try and think of it about like a clock, and 1430 would be the time 2:30, and 2:30 is like you've got a sore tooth, and they think of it as dentist key card. So whatever way that you can try and remember it, it's fine. So they're the responses where you can show 1 or 4 key cards, 3 or 0, and then 2 without the queen, 2 with the queen. And then the goal is, well, how do you actually work out which of those your partner has, especially when they do 1 or 4 or they do 3 or 0? And this is where you need to listen to the bidding a bit earlier. So here, during the earlier bidding, partner will often put a limit on their hand. So here, maybe partner's shown 12 to 14 points. And if that's the case, if they've got 14 points, they can't have 4 key cards. So if they bid 5 clubs, then they can't have 4 key cards, because the 4 key cards are either 4 aces, which is 16 points, or 3 aces and the king of trumps, which is 15, which is still too much for your partner to actually have their 2 heart bid. Sometimes it's trickier if they bid 5 diamonds and it be 0 or 3. So here, I want to just show a hand. So looking at this hand, let's say that we bid 4 no trumps. I'll put that in the more aggressive side, but I want to use this to try and explain a concept here. Let's say partner bids 5 diamonds and they're showing 0 or 3 key cards at this stage. So here the question is, well, if partner's got 0, we don't want to be in slam, but if they've got 3, we do. We'd be just missing 1 key card from here. So what do we actually want to do over this? Can partner have 0 key cards, or do they have 3? Well, what I like to do is think of, well, what possible hand could they have? So here we've got 16 high card points and partner's shown 12 to 14. Often you can think of hands that have 12 points that have 0 key cards, hands full of kings, queens, and jacks and stuff. And other times they could also have a hand with like 2 aces and a king, or 3 aces, or something like that. So it's a hand that the prior bidding, it could actually be either option. But looking at our hand, if we imagined that partner had no aces or the king of hearts, if they had 0, that doesn't really leave any points for them. They would have the queen jack of diamonds, the queen jack of clubs, the queen of spades, and the jack of hearts. That's 9 points. They don't have a strong enough hand that could have opened the bidding and supported there. So this is one where even with their range, they could have 0. It's theoretical, but when it meshes with our hand, there's no actually hand that they could actually have. The other way you can think about it is, let's say we've got 16 points, and let's say partner's got 12, that's 28. But if they've got no key cards, that is 15 points that we can't see, and that's too many points. We can see 28, there's at most 12 missing, but if we gave partner no key cards, that would be 15 points missing. And therefore, partner has to have the 3 key cards at this stage. So that's how you can usually tell how many key cards they have. You want to think about what range they've already shown, what sort of missing points are there, what can they actually have there. And if you can't tell how many they've got between 0 or 3 or 1 or 4, you can't tell that gap, that means you probably rushed into key card too early. Maybe you want to try and take the auction a bit slower, investigate a bit more until you do have the information that can actually narrow that down. But finally, I want to talk about some continuations, and that's the queen ask, where remember that when partner bids 5 hearts or 5 spades, we know how many key cards they've got and whether they have the relevant card of the queen of trumps or not. But when they bid 5 clubs or 5 diamonds, we don't. So it's a relevant card because it's a bit of a luxury, but if they bid 5 clubs and we want to investigate about the queen, you can bid the next suit up that isn't the trump suit. So here you'd be able to bid 5 diamonds here, and this would say, partner, do you have the queen of trumps? Alternatively, if partner bids something like 5 diamonds as their response, here the next suit up is the trump suit. 5 hearts would be, this is where I want to play. So if you wanted to ask about the queen of trumps, it would actually be 5 spades. And the only time you'd ever do this is if you wanted to investigate Grand Slam. And that's because we're already committing ourselves to go to Slam once we bypass 5 of our trump suit. So you can ask for the queen. If you don't have the spaces in this spot and you're just thinking, oh, should I bid 5 hearts or should I bid 6? The queen's a bit of a luxury. It's a relevant card, but most often, if you can't find out about it, don't worry about it and just try and bid the slam. So don't worry if you can't find out about it, but if you do have the space, you can actually bid the next suit up to ask about the queen of trumps. So here, 5 clubs, then 5 diamonds would see, partner, do you have the queen of trumps? And the way that I usually answer this is going back to the trump suit at the lowest level says, no, I don't. And this would say I don't have the queen. And if you do have the queen, then you can bid any new suit where you've also got a king. So if you bid 5 spades, it'd say, hey, I've got the king of spades and the queen of trumps. Or 6 clubs would say, I've got the king of clubs and the queen of hearts. And you can go back to, say, 6 hearts or 5 no trumps to say, I've got the queen, but I don't have any kings that I can show you. The main thing that you want to do is show if you've got the queen or not. The part about the kings is just extra information, and that's just in case partner wants to bid Grand Slam. If you forget about that, don't worry too much. The other follow-ups to Roman keycard that you can explore is you can bid 5 no trumps, and this is usually just asking about the other kings. And it says, partner, show me where you actually have a king. Now, some people use 5 no trumps differently. They use it for how many kings you have, but I find showing specific kings is much more useful. So I'll just have the responses be 6 clubs. I've got the king of clubs. 6 diamonds, I've got the king of diamonds, and 6 hearts says I don't have a king I want to show you. It's a bit awkward when you got the king of spades, and if you want to do that. But there's some of the continuations. I've only very glossed over those, but you can actually go into lots of depth about Roman keycard and continuations. There is a whole lot of room that you can explore. This was just a surface level covering where it's important to understand what the responses are, and that if you're only missing one, go ahead and bid slam. And when you're showing the queen, when you can ask for the queen, and the queen actually being a relevant card, it's a bit of a luxury. If you can find out about it, great. If not, just go ahead and bid slam if you're just missing one key card. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this introduction to Roman keycard, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.